On today's show, we have Catherine Fox and Lavinia Moore from Safe Motherhood Alliance PNG. Thanks so much for joining me for Afternoon Tea.
Thanks for having us.
So tell us a bit about Small PNG.
Well, the organisation was established out of the Ministerial Task Force on Maternal Health in 2009, and Dame Carol Kiddu championed the founding of this organisation because out of that report there was a clear gap for a coordinating mechanism, promotion and advocacy around maternal health and the issues that come under that. So she saw that there was a need, and she created the organisation, and there were a number of other women that came on board, and the organisation was formed. And so since that time, being incorporated in 2012, it has really gained momentum and explored further in that maternal health field.
So what is maternal health?
Oh, maternal health.
I mean, we know that Papua New Guinea has one of the highest rates in the Pacific, right? 733 per 100,000 live births. So, yeah, what does that mean? What is maternal health?
Well, we're talking about maternal mortality there. So the maternal mortality rate is, as you've said, 733 per 100,000 live births. So when you want to break that down so it's a little more understandable, we're talking about approximately 1,500 women or girls who will die because of a pregnancy or childbirth-related complication. And it's also good to note as well that it's not only the women who are dying, it's also their babies who are dying. So there's a number of deaths that occur because of a pregnancy or childbirth. So that rate is one of the highest, certainly the highest in the Pacific, second highest in the Asia Pacific. So we're really talking about a high number of women. That's 4 every day. So while we might be sitting here today enjoying our conversation, there will be women who will be suffering a complication and will potentially lose their life. And then of course we're also talking about morbidity, which is a permanent or a temporary disability. So the outcomes for women, particularly because of the rural-based population, the difficulty in being able to access a health clinic or because the ideal is to have a supervised delivery, because with a qualified midwife you will be able to have an assisted birth. So if there is a problem, they will know how to respond to it. It's important that more women have their births supervised, because it really doesn't matter whether it's the first pregnancy, the second, or your last. Every birth, every pregnancy carries risk, and you just don't know if you are going to experience a complication. So we would encourage all women to understand what the complications possibly are, what are the symptoms, and to have their births supervised, because that is the way that we will see less women dying.
Part of advocacy and awareness, you did an exciting Blooming Teens exhibition last year, and you brought some of the belly casts. If you can just tell us a bit about the belly casts and why Small PNG wanted to use that to advocate.
Well, apart from the coordinating role that we take on, promotion and advocacy is key to what we do. So, of course, we need to talk about these in different ways. So one of which is the Blooming Teens project, which we did. So we had 12 young women in their 3rd trimester of pregnancy who we plaster cast them, and we took their stories, and Lavinia will tell a little bit more about those stories. And we asked 12 emerging and established Papua New Guinean artists to come and create. So they had the story, they had the cast, and they created one example we have here today.
So in terms of advocacy, last year Small PNG actually had a project called the Blooming Teens project, and you showcased some of your belly cast to advocate for teenage pregnancy. Can you tell us a bit about the belly cast and the stories behind that?
The belly cast, we initially asked for 12 young women who were under the age of 18 to come forth and tell their stories. Those girls who came in, we brought about this Blooming Teens project because of the high rates of teenage pregnancy in the country right now, and it's a pressing issue at the moment. So when these girls came in, we also asked 12 artists to come forth and paint. We gave them each girl's story to the 12 artists, and they painted on them. And most of the girls that came forth, they had stories that were really, those stories are very real in PNG, and that would in fact reflect the many other young women across the country. Like from all the 12 girls that we've interviewed, we found out that all of them, face some sort of stigma, discrimination, and like all these 12 pregnancies were unplanned. So these girls came forth, they were able to tell their stories because we made the space and the time and we showed them that, we care about you, we care about the baby within you. It doesn't matter if you had the baby while you were in school or out of wedlock So we showed the love and the affection that they needed most. And we also had, the highlight of it was we had the art exhibition, the exhibition of this belly cast in the Parliament. If you ever look, you have the Prime Minister there with his signature on. And they basically made a commitment to the young people of Papua New Guinea and to the issues that our young people face. And one of the issues that we were advocating on at that time at the Parliament was obviously the teenage pregnancy issue that we have in the country right now.
Right, well, thanks so much for coming in and, thank you for sharing with us the amazing work you're doing around this space.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diane.
We now join Antonia Singud at the news desk with the NBC National News headlines.
Good afternoon. On tonight's bulletin, Port Moresby residents cautious amidst calls for a protest. Education Minister urges schools to return to classes tomorrow, and National Fraud and Anti-Corruption Directorate Office reopens. Join me and the news team for the details and more at 6 o'clock.
Thanks, Antonia. To trending now, watch how some are racing with lawnmowers, the imaginative way to light fire, and a water slide that'll make you begging for more.
Forget Formula One, this is where the real action is this summer. It's the British Lawnmower Racing Championship, and the season has just got underway. The championship runs from May to October, and each meeting sees drivers use their nerve and skill to fight their way to the top. But it's not as easy as it looks.
It takes a lot of time to get to a good standard. It's a little unusual. It's not like jumping in a car and just turning the wheel and pedals and gears. You've got to learn how you lean, how you brake, the different types of surfaces that you're racing on. So it really does take 3 or 4 years before you start to get the hang of how the lawnmowers race.